Good afternoon, welcome back. This is the second of two videos on connecting x-intercepts and linear factors with quadratic functions. If you haven't watched the first video, please go back and watch the first video. This one will make much more sense if you do so. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on the reflect question now. When it says we want a graph to determine whether 2x squared plus 5x minus 12 is the product of the linear factors 2x minus 3 and x plus 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to graph all three of these and we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to go to my graphing calculator. Okay. And as you can see, I've got some other information in here. When I go to my y equals, there's another function. My window might be different than what I originally planned. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clear my memory. Those of you who have been watching the past few videos, you know how to do this. If not, let me talk you through the steps. To clear your memory, which will clear any lists or settings that you have already in your computer, your calculator, you go ahead and hit your second button and then your plus button, which takes you to your memory. I want to reset, so I'm going to hit the number 7. You can also scroll down and hit enter, but I'll just hit the 7. I want to reset everything, so I hit 1. And then yes, I want to reset, so I hit the number 2. I'll tell you, all the RAM is cleared. So now when I go back into my y equals, nothing is there. I know that any other list that I had created, everything is gone. Don't do this if you don't want your list cleared. But if you want to make sure that everything is starting fresh, go ahead and do that. All right, so in order to determine if they're the same, we need to put these in the calculator. So 2x squared plus 5x minus 12. Now again, remember, whenever you're putting the x variable in, it's this key here next to the alpha. And then hit enter. I know that this will graph because my equal sign is highlighted. Then I'm going to put in my linear factors. And I want to know if it's a product of these. So I'm going to list them as linear factors. So 2x minus 3 and x plus 4. But I also want to see what happens because my calculator can graph multiple functions. What if I graph them separately? So 2x minus 3 as well as x plus 4. So we're going to see 4 different functions come up when I go to graph. Now, the grid that they gave me is not a standard viewing window, meaning you're negative 10 to 10 counting by ones. So I want to change my window to match the window that they're recommending I use. So I'm going to go up here to my window, and whenever I'm given a window to use, that's the one I always start with. You can always go back and change it later. But if they feel like you should start with something, you might want to follow their lead. So here my x goes from, first I see only negative 4 and negative 8. And that's on every other one. So I'm counting by 2s. So if I kept counting by 2, negative 8, negative 10, negative 12. So my smallest value is negative 12. The negative sign is down here next to the decimal, so negative 12. My maximum over here, 8, 10, 12, is 12, and I'm counting by 2s. You'll notice down here that these numbers changed. Please do not go in and change those yourself unless you know how to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back and change things. All right, my y value is different. I'm still counting by 2s, but here my minimum, negative 12, negative 14, is actually negative 16. And my maximum is 4, 6, only 8. I'm still counting by 2s. So now I'm going to go ahead and graph. This is my first function. This is my linear pairs written as a product. And this is the linear pairs each graphed separately. So, judging by the calculator and the picture that I got, I can in fact say that 2x squared plus 5x minus 12 is the product of 2x minus 3 and x plus 4. Their graphs were identical. When I think about a conjecture about my linear factors and the x-intercepts, my linear factors, the intercepts for my linear factors are equivalent. So when I graph my linear factors, the x-intercepts are the same as the x-intercepts for my quadratic function. We're going to look more at linear factors when we talk about the zero product property. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video.